The first thing that happened was, in fact, Sean, the paramedic, he was sat in the right-hand rear seat looking out the window, and he was the first one to see just a light.
As soon as I saw it, I notified the pilot so that he was aware of it, so he could see it in case we needed to get out of the way, and also if he could talk to the pilot and see why they were in our area and why they were flying so low. We then flew round and tried to identify it as soon as we could.
But the helicopter pilot was unable to open communications with the other vehicle. Concern grew for whether the object was a danger or not.
So I looked out of the window initially and saw the light, just so I could work out where to take the camera, and then brought the camera around onto it to see what the thermal image picture would give me.
It didn't have the normal, you know, the tail lights and the flashing lights that you would sort of normally see on an aircraft. So we didn't actually know what it was.
With the camera trained on the object, the mystery would surely be solved.
What I was expecting to see was the shape of an aircraft, because that's what we normally see. If we can't work out what the lights are or where they're going, then put it on the thermal image camera and you get a lovely silhouette of the aircraft or the helicopter, and you can actually work out what it is usually. But on this occasion I found it on the camera, brought the camera round onto it, and it was a cylinder. It's difficult to say how big it was.
It's very difficult at night time in the dark to judge distances and size of things, and all we could see was this light, so didn't have a clue how big it was.
When it's at night you can't tell how close it is. You know, it could be very, very close, or it could be very, very far in the distance. That's the problem with any video footage of lights at night.
John's camera was now carefully tracking the object's path, giving his crew the images they needed to solve the mystery.
Initially it did give the impression of moving quite quickly and away from us, so we were kind of moving around. You can actually see that on the video footage, that it does seem to be, we do seem to be chasing it around, and that was quite odd to start with. That it gave the impression it was moving very fast.
We had sight of it, and either it passed us or we passed it. It went down the starboard side of our aircraft. We were curious as to what it was, because we need to know, just on safety grounds really, what's in our airspace. It is very unusual to have anything at that particular height over Brighton, over any town or city. That's general aviation is not permitted that low. Commercial aviation is many thousands of feet higher than that. Most kites and balloons and things are well below it. It's an area where we're normally on our own at that height, so that's, I suppose, what took us a little bit by surprise.
We then flew round, and it seemed to, it gave the impression of moving away from us, and it gave the impression that we were trying to have to chase round to catch it up.
There may be a whole variety of reasons why a police aircraft would take an interest in something else, certainly another aircraft. Reasons that they may not make public either.
The shape was something that I just wanted to try and work out what it was. Working most of the time with the thermal image camera, you like to think you get quite good. I mean, I can't tell you whether it's a Boeing 737 or an Airbus or something, but you can see very clearly, two engines and an aircraft. You can see the military helicopters that are sometimes around at low level. That's the only other thing that was going through my mind that it might have been. But you can see the shape of the helicopter, the rotors going around, the heat from the jet exhaust, all the things you could see. What I could see here was just one single light in a daylight camera and this cylinder shape in the night camera, and it's trying to put those two together just to make some logical sense of what we were seeing.